All right, welcome back. Now let's do our last example here. And this is v of x. Now what I did was I plotted the function square root of x. So that's one of our parent functions. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use our parent function to graph this function by using transformations. So again, the first thing we're going to do is the horizontal translation, okay, which is going to be this +2 on the inside. So that means this graph, x of x, square root of x, is going to be shifted 2 units to the left. So all these points, so 0, 0, 1, 1, and 4, 2, are all going to be moved to the left 2 units. So the 0 is going to go to -2. The 1, 1 will go to -1, 1. And the 4, 2 will go to 2, 2. And so now our resulting graph looks something like that. Okay? Now, the next thing it wants us to do is the horizontal and vertical stretching and shifting. So, in this case here, let me double check just to make sure. No, there's no vertical stretching or shifting or horizontal stretching or shifting going on here, right? We don't see any factors being multiplied by x, or excuse me, x is not being multiplied by any positive a value, right? Bigger than 1 or less than 1. And there's no factor outside the function that's bigger than 1 or less than 1. Okay. So now at this point, now we just have to deal with the reflections, right? So notice how we have 2 reflections going on. We're doing a reflection across the y-axis and we're doing a reflection across the x-axis. So it doesn't matter which order we do them in. So let's reflect across, we're going to reflect across both. So that means this point is going to go from +2 to -2, and then it's going to go across the x-axis from +2 to -2. So this is going to go to -2, -2, right there. Now, this point here is reflecting across the x-axis, so this is going to go from 1 to -1, but then it's going to go from -1 in the y direction, or excuse me, in the x direction to +1. So this is going to go to right there. And then this one is 0, so it's on the x-axis, so it's going to stay there, but it's going to reflect across the y-axis from -2 to +2. And so now it looks like this. So I did both of the reflections at one time, which you can do. Okay. Now, in this case, there are no vertical translations, no vertical shifts. So we're done. So this graph here represents, v of x. All right, that's it. So practice. The biggest thing I recommend for transformations, because this is what we're all about in this section, is transformations, this chapter, is practice. Practice, practice, practice. The more you practice, the better you're going to get. Okay, and that goes with any skill, and math is definitely one of those skills.